out there. They're everywhere. They're on the left, they're on the right, and they're all taking issue tonight with Trump campaign's Breitbart connection. As we mentioned, Trump named Steve Bannon, the executive chairman of Breitbart News, as his new campaign CEO. Mr. Bannon is best known for his controversial right-leaning website and has been described as the most dangerous man in politics. I don't know about that, but that's what they say. Ben Shapiro is a former Breitbart editor-at-large and now the editor-in-chief of thedailywire.com. And Charles Hurt is a political columnist at the Washington Times. Welcome to you both. You know, the most dangerous man in politics. Wow. I mean, given that politics is as dangerous as it is these days, maybe that's not so bad to have on your side, especially when you're going up against the likes of the Clintons. But Ben, you don't think Bannon's going to help him. I know that you know Mr. Bannon quite well. Why do you say that?
Well, I'm not saying that Bannon won't help him. I think that Bannon could help him. He could help keep him on track a little bit. But I think that Steve Bannon has a record of telling Donald Trump to double down. Breitbart News has created this alternative reality where Donald Trump is always winning and his rally size matters more than his poll numbers. And Bannon has a history of speaking with various kind of high-level Republican politicians and Svengaling them a little bit, from Michelle Bachmann to Sarah Palin, and watching as their careers spiral the drain. I think Steve is a very smart guy. I think Steve is a very vicious guy. And I think that Steve has his own interests here, and his own interests don't necessarily matter very much when it comes to Trump winning.
I would think, I mean, now that he's joined the campaign and has taken on the role effectively of CEO of the whole Trump campaign, his interests should be aligned with Donald Trump's, in that he needs to win this thing as much as Trump needs to win this thing. I don't know why you take that on if you don't want to win. You want to go down as a loser? Why take that on? You could have stayed happily at Breitbart and just, you know, enjoyed the paycheck.
So Steve is a very smart guy, and that means that he doesn't put himself in win-lose scenarios. He puts himself in win-win senios. Right now, if Trump wins, obviously Steve is a power player at the White House, and I have to prepare for my IRS audit. If he loses, if Trump loses, then presumably Steve moves on with Trump as an ally, and they prepare their stabs in the back myth, and they work together beyond that, because Breitbart and Trump have been working hand in glove together for months now. I mean, when I left in March, I said this was Trump Pravda, and that Bannon had basically turned Breitbart into that. Again, that doesn't mean that Trump is going to be hurt by bringing Bannon on, but there is a shark jump moment to all of this, and it's not just a shark jump. It sort of feels like Fonzie put on an Evel Knievel rocket pack and is jumping 1,000 left sharks from Katy Perry.
I don't know about that. I think, it's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say, and it's still early. We're not even at Labor Day.
I agree.
And Charles, let me ask you, what is it that Mr. Bannon can bring to the table? Because I think that while running the website is one thing, actually running a campaign is something rather different. And let's face it, the Donald Trump that we have seen in the last couple of days has been a more modified version of himself.
Sure. Well, to be sure, I don't think that picking Steve Bannon to run his campaign is picking a political hack. Steve Bannon does not have experience running a presidential campaign, to be sure. But what I think that that decision does signal is that Donald Trump is doubling down on the message that Donald Trump has given from the beginning, and it's a message that's been very good for him, combating illegal immigration, domestic economy, again, domestic economy, not globalism, but the domestic economy, and fighting terrorism. And those things, there are very few people, especially on the right, who saw those three messages, those three issues, as being as vital as they've proven it to be. One of them is, of course, Donald Trump, but another one has been Breitbart and Steve Bannon. And then the fourth overarching thing that I think is so vitally important and has done so much good for Donald Trump in this campaign has been his willingness to go up and shatter the political correctness that has strangulated politics in this country. And, definitely the Democratic Party, and I know that Ben agrees with me on that, and I think he probably agrees with me on this, too. Yeah. It's also strangulated the Republican Party.
Yeah, no, both sides, for sure.
You can't take away from Steve Bannon that he has been just as unafraid and unflinching to go after that kind of political correctness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a good thing.
Well, for sure. It is definitely refreshing to see that in politics these days, and I think that is so much of what people have responded to. Thank you so much. It's good to see both you guys.